Normally, becoming an NXT champion means that you are the next guy up and you are going to be a star once you make it to the main roster. Or at least that's what you're told would happen when you become an NXT champion or when someone wins an NXT championship. Today, we're going to talk about every single NXT champion and if they failed or they succeeded on the main roster based on the expectations that they had once they won the title. Now, really quickly, if you guys enjoy professional wrestling content, do me one small favor. Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications so you can see all the future videos. Now, let's talk about all the NXT champions. First up, we have our inaugural champion and arguably one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time, Seth Rollins. Now, I kind of sold on telling you what does that mean for Seth Rollins. So Seth Rollins won the NXT championship by beating Jinder Mahal, becoming the first ever champion. And once he made it to the main roster, yeah, this guy did everything. He's a Grand Slam champion with the NXT title. For some reason, everyone thinks that you need to have the NXT championship to be a Grand Slam champion. Let's just get that out of the way. That is not true. I just want to get that out of the way. But Seth Rollins has won everything, main evented WrestleManias, had one of the greatest cash-ins of all time, one of the greatest characters of all time, my favorite superstar of this generation, one of my favorite of all time as well. He's done everything. Like, you can argue that he's the best NXT champion that's ever been champion of NXT. So he's an easy one. Success. Then you had Big E Langston, or as we just know him now as Big E. And outside of the fact that he is injured now, he has won the big one. He has won the world title. He is someone that has won the NXT title and won the world title. He's part of one of the greatest factions of all time when it comes to the New Day. Multiple time tag team champion. I believe he is a Triple Crown champion. I don't think he's Grand Slam. So yeah, Big E's missing the United States title from being a Grand Slam champion. So he is a Triple Crown champion. So for Big E, 2 thumbs up. Big success. Next up, we have Bo Dallas, or as you guys probably know him now as Uncle Howdy. He is an interesting one because he never really did much on the main roster. He was a part of the B team. He was always just Bray Wyatt's brother. He never really got an opportunity to be that guy on the main roster. Never had too much success on the main roster. The Wyatt Six is a cool thing. I believe they're going to do some cool stuff with the Wyatt Six. But it's not really about him having much success as a competitor with the Wyatt Six and being Uncle Howdy as it is being an NXT champion and having all the expectations that he had. So he's actually our first unsuccessful failure as NXT champion. Then we have Adrian Neville, or just know him as Neville. He's a pretty easy one. He won a couple of Cruiserweight championships. Not really much other than that. He's great. I personally like Neville, but he never really got the opportunity in WWE. He went over to AEW, did some good stuff over there, but when it comes to WWE itself, failure. Now, this next one is Sami Zayn, and if this was a couple years ago, I think I would put him in the failure category. But it's tough now because after the work that he did, so once he had the Johnny Knoxville feud at WrestleMania, then eventually joining forces with the Bloodline, being, you can argue, the most important member of the Bloodline when it came to the entertainment aspect. Like, he elevated the Bloodline. Him joining the Bloodline took the Bloodline story to the next level. You can't sleep on that. It's just a factual statement. He's won a WrestleMania main event. He's won an Intercontinental title now. He has matches that are very meaningful. He is one of the most important members on the roster. When it comes to success, it's a tough one. I think main eventing WrestleMania and winning and dethroning the longest reigning tag team champions, plus dethroning the longest reigning Intercontinental champion, should be like a thumbs up success. But at the same time, he's never won the big one. He's been on the roster for over a decade. I'm going to give him 1 thumbs up just for everything he's done. Because it's not a failure of a career. He's been on the main roster, a mainstay, and he's super relevant on the main roster right now. I'm going to give him 1 thumbs up. So success, but like just successful enough. And then we have one half of the other guy that was on that WrestleMania main event, and that is Kevin Owens. Now, Kevin Owens is an easy one. That guy has done everything and won everything. He is another guy that became a Grand Slam champion. He's won the big one. His feuds are always matter. He's going to have a match with Randy Orton at WrestleMania. He is a very important guy on the roster. His stories are always great. His character is great. His moveset is great, especially for the type of, like, you look at his build and I tell you that he can go off the top rope and do flips and swantons and pop up power bombs and everything he can do. You could be like, yeah, okay. But he can't. He is one of the most diverse guys on the roster. And he's done everything he could. He's literally like 2 thumbs up successful. There's not much to say about him. This next one is going to be really tough for me. It's Finn Balor. Finn Balor, he won the big one. He won the Universal title, was the first Universal champion, had to give it up, and never won the main title since. It's also crazy with Finn Balor because he's a Grand Slam champion. Even though he held the main title for a day, he has won everything else. Just for that, I feel like you have to minimum give him 1 thumbs up. But what's been going on with his career recently, like, he's a part of the Judgment Day. He won the tag team titles with Damian Priest when they were the unified tag team titles. He has matches that matter. He puts on 5-star matches. He's always in feuds that are relevant. So I'm going to give him both thumbs up, even though it's a tough one, because I feel like you have to be a reigning world champion for me to give you 2 thumbs up. He's won the title and unfortunately lost it because of situations. He had the Demon Finn Balor character, which is one of the best characters, I think, ever. Unfortunately, he got killed by Edge. But for him, we got to give it to him. Samoa Joe, that's a tough one. I don't think he got his fair shake in WWE. Blame it completely on Vince McMahon. Failure. Shinsuke Nakamura is the next one. Another guy. So unfair. Vince should have had him win the main title after he won the Royal Rumble, but he won the Royal Rumble. He had that world title match at Mania. He's won mid-card titles. I want to give him a 1 thumbs up, but it's like tough because it's like you guys are going to have to give me this one in the comments. Is Shinsuke a failure, success, 1 thumb, 2 thumbs? I got to know from you guys. Bobby Roode is another one. If Bobby Roode could have stayed healthy, and if Bobby Roode joined WWE earlier, he would have had many thumbs up, and I think he would have been a world champion. Unfortunately, he got hurt. Failure. The next one is Drew McIntyre. Once Drew McIntyre came back after he got released, came to NXT, became NXT champion, destroyed everybody in NXT, came to the main roster, Grand Slam champion. Come on. He's 2 thumbs up. One of the best characters in the WWE right now. MVP last year. 2 major thumbs up for Drew McIntyre. Andrade is another case of somebody who, I don't know if he got in his own way and then ended up leaving the WWE, but Andrade should have won significantly more things. He is so good in the ring. He's got a great character, but he left, came back, had a short feud with Carmelo, kind of been MIA. Overall, thumbs down. Aleister Black, similar situation to Andrade. I don't understand how this guy did not get a push of winning a world title with the character that he had and the storylines he could have had. Then he left for AEW looking for greener pastures. I believe he's going to be coming back, but so far career-wise on the main roster, thumbs down. Now we're about to go into a section of guys that are going to break my heart because I'm probably going to give every single one of these guys a thumbs down. But every single one of these guys, in my eyes, should be at least 1 thumbs up. And I hope by the end of their careers, they get a thumbs up. I'm going to group together Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Both guys, so unfortunate that injuries to Ciampa hurt him. And that whatever reason, Vince McMahon could not get over the fact that Johnny Gargano is a small guy and never gave him real opportunities. Both of those guys are thumbs down. Adam Cole never really got to make it to the main roster. He's an ex-champion. And then he went over to AEW. So I guess for him, thumbs down. Keith Lee, oh Keith Lee. If you could have went back and asked me, out of everyone that I named, who was I certain would have been a world champion, Keith Lee was on that list. Unfortunately, no. Keith Lee didn't do much and then left. Michin is still here. He is not. I don't even know if he's in AEW anymore. I don't know the last time we've seen him on television. Thumbs down. The next one is Karrion Kross. And Karrion Kross's character right now is one of the most interesting characters in the WWE. But god dang, the guy has done freaking nothing. He even got released, then he got brought back. I don't know what the flip they're doing with the guy. I hope he gets an opportunity to wrestle soon. Maybe one day. But unfortunately, thumbs down. Then we saw the title go back and forth between, I think it was like Finn Balor, Cross, Samoa Joe, and then I think Balor again, or maybe Cross again. And then they vacated it. And then it became like NXT 2.0, which Ciampa won it again. I think the next newest one is Braun Breaker. But this is where it's tough, right? Because Braun Breaker, for what he's done in a short time in the WWE, I have to give him at least one thumbs up. Because he came to the main roster, destroyed everybody, and is IC champion. Gonna go to WrestleMania as IC champion. So, like, I have to give him one thumbs up so far for his career. Because he's only been on the main roster for, what, like a year and a half? So, he definitely is at least one thumbs up. Then you had that short stint where Dolph Ziggler was the champion. Dolph Ziggler gets 2 thumbs up on the main roster. He's done everything. Like, literally, you name something on the main roster to have been done, Dolph Ziggler did it. And you guys always say he's underrated. Being a multiple-time world champion, you can't be underrated. Like, come on, guys. Like, he's won everything. Like, you can't underrate Dolph Ziggler. Like, could he have been in the WWE longer still right now and been in relevant feuds? For sure. But he gets 2 thumbs up. Like, come on. Now, out of all the rest of the NXT champions, only 2 guys have actually made it to the main roster. Carmelo Hayes is one. For him, it's like you can't give him a thumbs up or a thumbs down. He hasn't been on the main roster long enough. He's, I think, going to be at WrestleMania for the US title in like a triple threat or fatal 4-way. He's been in the ring with a lot of the biggest stars in the company. He's won matches. He's lost matches. He's feuded with really relevant guys. He gets TV time all the time. He's in Mellow Don't Miz right now. Like, I guess Miz is kind of like his like mentor right now. So like, for him, it's like undecided. Same thing with Ilya Dragunov. He's the next guy. He got hurt once he made it to the main roster, but it looked like he was going to be feuding for the IC title, and we were probably going to get Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov for the IC title. So he's like undecided. But then you had Trick Williams, Ethan Page, back to Trick Williams, and now Obafemi's the champion. None of those guys are obviously on the main roster. I believe all of them will be on the main roster, even though Ethan Page is a little bit on the older side of the business. But I think, telling you right now, Obafemi is going to be a big deal. I met him. I did an interview with him. If you guys did not see on my TikTok, he is, in my opinion, going to be a massive player. I think Trick Williams will as well. I think Ethan Page will be relevant and have some good storylines. But overall, this is where really all the NXT champions have been. And if you guys saw, outside of like early on, most of the guys that became NXT champions kind of failed on the main roster. I hope that it doesn't go this way, like in the future. Cause like, I think maybe we had after like Finn Balor, we had what, 2, maybe 3 thumbs up total, like including all the fingers. So I hope that they start getting these guys to the main roster and having them be more relevant. I think this is a test to Triple H. And I made a video about this not too long ago saying winning the NXT title doesn't really matter much anymore. You don't have your Seth Rollins, your Kevin Owens, your Sami Zayns. Like, you have guys that once they make it there, they're barely feuding for mid-card title. But with that being said, I want to know from you guys, who was your favorite NXT champion? Who was an NXT champion that you think got screwed over and should have been much more relevant on the main roster? And let me know who you guys think is a future NXT champion that's on the roster right now in NXT. And really quickly, if you guys could do me 2 small favors, make sure to ring that bell after you subscribe so you get future notifications, and hit that thumbs up so more people can see this video. With that being said, this is much love from me to you. Peace.